When we remodeled, we left the exterior alone. Sometimes the wind catches around the old tower.
Sounds almost sad.
As well it should.
Anne.
The villagers all say it's the crying woman come back again.
Anne, for God's sake, let's not get into that. I'm sure our guests have no interest in such absurd stories.
Well, speaking as someone who makes a living telling stories, I'd be very interested.
This house was built 150 years ago by the captain of a trading ship for his wife as a wedding gift. He even built her a stone tower down by the cliffs so she could watch as he came home from the sea. One night, she was up on the tower, terrible night, racked with storms, lightning. And she watched as his ship was dashed against the cliffs. It sank with all hands aboard. In despair, she threw herself from the tower to join her husband in death.
How terrible.
According to legend, from time to time, the captain's wife can be heard here on the grounds, weeping and calling for her husband. The legend also says, whenever the crying woman is heard, someone dies.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 21. Our podcast is now old enough to drink.
Finally,
yeah, episode 21 of the Cabot Cove Confab. This is Sean
and Steve,
and we're going to be talking about the wind around the tower today.
But before we do that, we have our pre-banter that apparently everybody loves.
Well, hold on.
All right.
I just want to say, yeah, we got some feedback about that, some emails, and
I cannot believe I'm the only person that would. Never mind. Go ahead. Because every time somebody emails like, "Hey, I really like Steve doesn't know what he's talking about. He's a moron." Well, I mean, you get those all the time, but this specific topic, you let me know that hey, we're getting people that really like the pre-banter stuff.
Okay, well, the thing is we got some emails, and I printed up the emails and
printed them.
Yeah,
are you going to frame them and send them to me?
I mean, I put.
You're going to laminate them.
I was going to put them in like a hat and then draw them like randomly from the hat. So what I did was I put them in this plastic bag. And here, I'll draw one out right now. I crinkled them up, so this is me. This is the ASMR podcast. Let me just show you, okay? Well, this one's long.
Yes, I can see it clearly.
Okay. Okay. Dear Sean and Steve, this is from David. This email was written from y'all's request for listener feedback in the last couple of episodes of the Cabot Cove Confab podcast. Let's talk about the pre-show banter. It is seriously the best thing about the podcast. If it is 30 minutes, hey, it is 30 minutes of gold. It's gold, Jerry, gold, in Jimmy Durante's voice from It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. There are so many great things I have learned about because of the banter. I want to hear more about Sean's murder mystery dinners and Steve's collection of Laserdisc movies. Not to mention the sauces that are available from different fast food chicken places around Texas, such as Raising Cane's and Chicken Express. And you know what Steve can do with that timer? Yeah, he can stick it to where he can time his next bowel movement. That alarm is so annoying. Okay,
noted.
Okay, I have listened to every single podcast from the Colombo Confab, perhaps one of the best podcasts ever. I've listened to shit we watch on Netflix, to now the Cabot Cove Confab, and would even listen to your Doctor Who podcast. Have never even seen an episode, but I can't seem to find it anywhere. It's the TARDIS Tavern, right? Yes, sir, that's the name of it, but it's no longer available. It exists only on Steve's hard drive. One suggestion: after every season of the Cabot Cove
Confab... That's not true.
Not
true. Didn't you say someone was posting those?
They weren't posting them. But no, that was Columbo. They were posting Columbo.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. After every season of the Cabot Cove Confab, I would like to suggest that you review one of Williamson and Link's Ellery Queen series, just like how you dropped in a Mrs. Columbo every now and then. A little change from format, and I think you both would enjoy the one-season series. Fun fact, the home used in the episode of the Mad Hatter's Tea Party is the exact same house used as Alex Benedict's home in Etude in Black. Well, we're going to get there again later on. It was very nostalgic for me, as a lot of the TV stations would play episodes during rain delays of baseball games when I was growing up here in Southern California. I wish you all the best, Dave. Okay, that one was a little long. A lot of them are short, but that's just one example. So, yeah. Okay. So, the kids, the children, Steve, the listeners, the readers, they love the pre-show banter. All right?
And they want me to adjust my bowel movements to a timer. That's nice.
But Steve, I know that you have something to share with us, don't you, Steve?
Do I get to? Okay.
Yeah, your turn.
Wait, you made it sound like there was a lot of emails. So were you just pulling my leg and Dave was the only one that emailed in?
Well, I don't want to read them all at once. I mean, the people don't like them.
Oh, you're saving them. Nice. Okay.
Yeah, I'll save them and I'll pull them out randomly throughout the podcast.
Like, throughout a single podcast? Or
yes,
throughout the series?
I'm not going to... No, throughout
okay.
this episode, this podcast episode. Trust me, there's not that many, and they're not... Just roll with it, Steve.
All right. I was going to discuss in my 30-second pre-banter. I've been watching a few movies.
Uh-huh.
I decided to... so, as the readers know, maybe they don't know. I don't know what's edited and what's talked before we start recording sometimes, but... so you gave me access to your Shudder account.
Okay. Yes.
So I finally watched Nightmare on Elm Street, the original Wes Craven 1984 release.
Mm-hmm.
And didn't like it.
Sorry.
Okay, so, okay, you went
I was taking a sip of my drink.
Okay.
I have a confession. I don't really like that movie either. The only thing I like about it is Johnny Depp's outfit, and that's pretty much it.
His outfit, yeah. I thought there would be more Freddy. Freddy, maybe there's... Because the Freddy I'm aware of is all those funny quotes he does.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems like this was setting up the lore, so maybe the sequel is better. Because I did also watched Halloween 2. You've been hounding me to watch that, because I did not like the first Halloween movie. And I was very confused, because I always thought Laurie Strode was the sister of Michael Myers, and in the first movie she's not. She's just a babysitter, right? Well, finally watched the second one. Now I see the connection. That she was adopted, so she is actually the biological younger sister of Michael Myers, and I enjoyed that quite a bit. So I wish that would have been my first Halloween movie or Michael Myers movie, because Halloween 3 is the one with the masks, right? That just looks like garbage. I remember watching. Oh
no, it's not. It's good. It's fun.
Really?
Yeah. 8 more days till Halloween. It's just silly fun. It has aged well, I think.
Yeah. Okay, well, maybe I'll watch that, because I saw it a long, long time ago when I was just a kid.
I just want to let the people know, you had the week off, and I was at work, and I get this text from you, and you're like, you're right, I liked Halloween 2 more, and there's 2 reasons, and I don't remember what I said, but you texted me a picture of the 2 reasons, and it was just basically the naked lady and her 2 boobs. I'm like,
it was
okay.
the nurse, yeah.
All right, fine. All right, fine, whatever.
They were very nice.
So whether or not you want to continue with your Halloween exploration is up to you. They don't really get that much better. But, it's the significant diminishing returns or whatever the rule is. But you discovered something else on Shudder, and that is you discovered Joe Bob Briggs.
I watched one of his episodes. He rambles more than we do during our pre-discussions here. He would be a fun guy to have on a podcast, that's for sure. He goes off on some random shit.
He was on a podcast.
It's almost like home. It's like talking to you.
And you know what? He says naked the same way you do. Naked. Naked.
What?
Yeah, he says it the same way you do. It must be a Texas thing. I don't know.
But I did want to say before we move on from Halloween 2, so Donald Pleasance is in that again. I was surprised because I thought that was like a one and done deal.
No.
He's just going to do the one movie. But he was in that. In the movie, I don't know, I didn't look up the years, but it picks up immediately after the first movie ends.
Right.
And it has the same feel, the film quality, everything. It doesn't look like it's been modernized, like they had 5 years to, They did a really good job. I mean, you basically have to watch Halloween 1 and 2 back to back. I think that it's a better full story if you watch them together.
Okay.
As one film.
I'm just going to say, everybody's still agog from you saying that number 1 wasn't a good movie. That's just heresy. And
okay.
I knew about that you didn't like it before, so I'm not that shocked at the moment. So.
And then I finally, there was one movie I've been wanting to watch for years, and it's been on my bucket list, but I would always forget about it because it's not a really well known. Now, it is a cult. I don't know if that's a classic, but it's a cult movie. There's a lot of people who really recommend it, and it was kind of, I don't think it was brought up, but the documentary that I watched on Shudder called what was it? It was about Alien, but what was the name of it?
Oh, Mystery? Yeah.
And they were talking. Yeah. It went in a lot about, which I didn't know much, even though I love that film. Talked about Dan O'Bannon, who was the writer, or one of the writers for Alien. And it reminded me of one of his first movies that he did with John Carpenter, called Dark Star.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so I've been wanting to see that movie for years because I love sci-fi, and I like sci-fi horror, sci-fi comedy. I don't know if the listeners like Red Dwarf or Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Those kind of, I enjoy those kind of things. And this has very much that. And the premise, there's a lot of scenes from that are carried over to Alien. I mean, there's a scene where one of the crew member is hunting down an alien through the air ducts. But the movie is, let's just say, it looks like a student film. It's not special effects. It looks pretty crappy, even by 1975 standards. It doesn't look good. When did 2001 come out? What year was that?
1968, or maybe 69. I don't recall.
So you watch that today, and it still looks fantastic.
Oh yeah, yeah, it does.
This one, it just looks really bad, but it's about a crew of 4 guys that are on the spaceship, and the spaceship is traveling through space, and they destroy planets. And there's a lot of comedy. It's very dry. The horror is not that much. You would think from a John Carpenter and Dan O'Bannon kind of script that it would be more. But finally got to see it. Been wanting to see it for years. It was horrible. I'm sorry, really? It was so bad. It was bad. It's so bad. I'm glad I got to see it though, and you can see it for free. The Roku channel has it for free.
Oh, really? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, I spent the week watching movies. So that's kind of a quick highlight of some of the ones I enjoyed. So
good.
Had fun watching.
That's great. That's
all
great.
Right. Are we done? Did we do our?
I don't actually.
Did I satisfy you?
I don't have anything. I have nothing. Nothing new that I saw. I kind of shot my. I'm not going to say that. I kind of. I was the movies 6 times when my mom was here for just over a week, so I kind of shot.
Yeah, well, what did you watch? Yeah. So, what movies did you go see at the theater?
Oh God, we went to go see Death on the Nile, which I thought was okay. We went to see. I went to see by myself the last day of my last job. I left at like 2, and then went to go see The Batman, which I enjoyed more.
Oh, you did see that with your mother? I thought you went with her.
No, she doesn't give a shit. So I just went by myself to the Alamo Draft
Well,
House.
it's so weird because you don't like comic book movies. I find this so bizarre that you went to go see that.
This is a little bit different, though. It's not your standard Marvel fare. I mean, it's DC, but it's dark. It's not really a superhero movie. It's more like the original Batman, where he's more of a detective than a superhero.
Dressed as a bat.
Yeah, dressed as a bat. They don't go into his origin story. The Penguin, the Riddler, and Catwoman are in it. And yeah, it was not bad. I mean, the 3 hours flew by. It's very evocative of Seven, the movie Seven, or there was another movie it reminded me of, but I can't remember it right now. But yeah, what else did I see? The what? Which one?
12 Monkeys. I don't know why I said that. And they got a 4K release. I think that's why.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have any. We also saw The French Dispatch. No. We saw that the last time my mom was here, I think. Because she wanted to see that. Oh, we saw The Lost City. That's all I'll say about that.
What's that about?
That's the one with The Rock and Sandra Bullock, and they're trapped in the jungle.
Oh, it's not The Rock. Is it The Rock?
Oh, it's what's his name? It's yeah,
John Cena or something like that.
No, it's one of the Chris's, I think. Is it Chris Hemsworth? I don't know.
I haven't seen it, but I got the impression, and I've heard it's a lot like Romance in the Stone. Is that right?
That is correct. In fact, we saw it at the Alamo. You know how the Alamo plays stuff before the movie that's kind of related to the movie, but it isn't the movie? They played a lot of Romance in the Stone commercials and previews and, Jewel of the Nile and all that.
Oh, the sequel. That was horrible.
Yeah, and let me see. What else did we see? What kind of shit did... we tried to see some of the Academy Award nominated movies, so we went to go see... I mean, there was no way we'd get to them all. I can't remember what we saw. Oh, God, yes! We saw this movie called... we did not see King Richard. We saw The Outfit, which is excellent. That was probably my favorite movie.
Okay.
And I can't remember what else we saw, but that was a long time ago. So, yeah.
Oh, very good. Okay.
You know what I think it's time for? I think it's time for, before we get into the story, another note.
Oh,
okay.
My God.
All right, let me put my glasses on here for a second. Let me unfold the note. Okay. This one is from Mike. Mike has emailed us a lot. The subject heading of is Snow White, Blood Red, a.k.a. Egg Farts. Hi, guys.
What?
Regarding your... What?
Just go.
Hi, guys.
Wasn't expecting to hear that. I wasn't expecting to hear that in a sentence, that's all.
I question your dedication to sparkle motion, sir. Okay, Mike says, hi, guys. Regarding your banter, we can read boring episode recaps anywhere. I think you should assume that anyone listening to you knuckleheads enjoys the bunny trails. Keep it up.
He uses the word knucklehead. He uses the word... You make fun of me for using that word.
No, sir. I like that word. And you didn't say knuckleheads. You said chuckleheads. And I found myself using that word a lot lately. I love that word, chuckleheads. It's like what Mo would call Larry and Curly.
It is. I think that's probably where... I'm pretty sure that's where I picked it up. Watching old Three Stooges.
You two chuckleheads, get in here and finish this up. Hey, Mo, look what I did. Well, that's great. What did you want me to do? Kiss you? Well, get back over there. That's my Mo impersonation. He says, in that spirit, here are some miscellaneous items. Alan Hale Jr. played the skipper. I think OBGYN George Weiner's most memorable role was Colonel Sanders in Spaceballs. What's the matter, Sanders?
Yes.
Chicken?
Yeah, chicken. Yeah.
Murderville
I hate that movie, but it's got a lot of great scenes in it.
Yes, it does.
It's so weird. It's like Mel Brooks directed scenes and just mashed them together. As a movie, it fails, but there are some great scenes in that movie that are hilarious.
Yes, indeed. I agree. Murderville was also a ton of fun. If you have Apple Plus, I recommend The After Party, A modern take on the cozy mystery. I'm also really enjoying Ellery Queen. Lots of Columbo crossovers in a fun format. We gotta fucking watch this Ellery Queen shit, Steve. This is the second email in a row. Be seeing you. See what he said there? Yeah, be seeing you. That's from The Prisoner. Mike. Okay.
Yes.
It'll be 5 more minutes till I read another one. I'll set the timer now.
Okay, well, I got to say thank you, Dave and Mike. I hope you appreciate the amount of time that we've dedicated to not talking about Murder, She Wrote. See, I was under the impression people would tune in to listen to a Murder, She Wrote podcast to hear about our horrible takes on the episode. But
okay, all right. Well, Mr.
So we could just talk about bullshit for the next hour, and that apparently would be just as well received.
Well, we haven't hit our 30-minute cherry. We haven't even hit 20 minutes just yet. So, Steve, if you want to take it from here, now we can get down to business and talk about the episode.
We could talk about the time we were playing Dead by Daylight, and then you insisted that I need to go see a doctor to get my prostate exam. You remember that? Or were you too drunk to remember that?
Why did I say that?
I don't know.
Are you lying?
I know. I am serious.
Why would I say
you don't
that?
Remember this? I don't know. You were worried that I hadn't had my exam yet because we're getting older. I don't know why you.
This is not a thing that I'm worried about. I don't know where you're coming from. It's not like you're a lady with breasts and you should have the breast. I mean, colonoscopy. Are you sure it wasn't colonoscopy? Because it's a.
Well, maybe it was that. Something to do with my ass.
That's all I know. It was probably colonoscopy. Yeah. They say when you reach.
Okay.
That's great, Steve. Belch. They say when you reach our age, you're supposed to have a colonoscopy like once every 5 months, and I was all like,
Once every 5 months?
Oh, 5 years. Sorry. 5 years. I'm sorry.
Well, I guess if you enjoy it, yeah.
But I don't think insurance will pay for that. So I was like all like gung-ho, like, oh, okay, I'll do it. And I set up an appointment, and then I just got really busy / lazy and didn't go to the appointment. I'm like, I'll just do this later.
This is gold, Jerry, gold.
I was like, okay, I've got.
And that's from, you said it was from a Mad World?
Yeah.
That quote. I thought that was from the Seinfeld show, because he had this annoying comedian. Jerry had this annoying comedian, and I forget what his name was. But he would say that to Jerry all the time.
Maybe that's
like,
what
have you had the soup here, Jerry? It's gold. It's gold.
It's gold, Jerry. Gold. You know what? Yeah, you know what's gold? What? Soap. You know what kind of soap I use? Irish Spring. Speaking of Irish,
too. And do you do the whistle when you lather up in the shower?
Yeah. But I like it Irish. Oh, I fucking hate that soap. If you ever want like really dry skin, just go wash your hands and face with Irish Spring soap. I
do. I like Irish Spring.
Oh,
gives me a reason to whistle in my shower.
And I have Lever 2000, which I thought, oh, okay. I remember liking this.
Because you have 2,000 parts? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's terrible. I don't like this soap. And then my mom was here, and she had to buy her own special soap. And it's too moisturized. It's too...
oily?
Oily, yeah. Anyway.
I like bathing with lava soap, especially in the special areas.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so you're just going to let that one lie down. Okay, fine.
You know what? I almost grabbed the letter bag to cleanse the palate there, but I'm not going to do that just yet.
Oh.
Okay.
Wait, how many more interruptions are we going to have with this letter bag?
Let me see.
Oh my god, sounds like a lot.
Not a lot. I can get one right now. You wanted to hear one right now?
Why don't you do one right now so that'll give us a solid 5 minutes to talk about the thing we're actually supposed to be talking about.
Okay, this is from Joanne, and Pre-Show Banter is the title. Hi, Sean and Steve. I heard you last week questioning if people like your pre-show banter, and I have to tell you, I like it. You're silly at times, and I really enjoy it. The last couple of years have been hard on everyone, and there's nothing better than forgetting about the problems of the world and having a laugh. Please continue with God's work. LOL, Joanne. Okay.
She's calling this God's work. Oh,
it is.
my God.
It is the Lord's work. So, Steve.
All right.
It is the Lord's work.
Well, thank you, Joanne.
That was stolen.
For what?
I stole that thing about the Lord's work from Kathleen Madigan. That's what she said on her podcast.
Oh, you went to go see her, didn't you?
I bought tickets to go see her. She'll be in Austin in September.
Oh, it's September. Okay.
Yeah. So
very good.
10th row for like $150 for 2 tickets. I was very surprised.
Are you going to yell at the comedian if she starts talking about your partner?
I don't think she will because she doesn't do that. Oh, I see what you mean. Oh, you're doing Will Smith. See, everybody's forgotten about that, Steve. That's so.
Oh, I know.
Ago.
But by the time you release this, which will be in 2 months, it'll be way past. So.
More, yeah. It's all right. Okay.
So you were trying to transition to the episode earlier with bringing up Irish Spring, and I totally derailed you.
Okay. So you sabotaged yourself. So don't blame me.
So tonight we're talking about Wind Around the Tower, the most Scooby-Doo-ish episode of Murder, She Wrote I have seen so far.
Mm-hmm. All right, so full disclosure, about halfway through this episode, I realized that I had seen it before because I saw it in my hotel room while I was traveling for work, and I think I subconsciously remembered part of the solution. But I did remember the perfume bottles being a clue. That's why, but we'll get there.
That's a major clue.
Yeah, that's a big clue.
So as you can guess, this takes place not in Maine, Cabot Cove, Maine, but
or New York City.
Ireland.
Or New York City. Yeah.
Not even in America. It takes place in Ireland. Yeah. Someplace in Ireland. I don't even think... We're told it's just outside of Dublin, right? I don't think we're given a location.
An hour outside of Dublin. That's correct, yes. You are correct. So yes, that's correct.
So we're introduced to Sean, not our Sean, but a character that I assume has been in a previous episode because they seem to know each other.
And
they even reference... Oh, okay. Because they reference like another storyline that I think they were in.
I know that she was in London for more than maybe there were 3 episodes that were set in Ireland. I said London, but it's Ireland. They seem to really like going back to Ireland for some reason. But yeah, that's all I know.
Except for a few exterior shots, I'm pretty sure this all was shot in California.
It was. In fact, you may recognize some of it. The house that's featured.
Oh, yeah, no, I didn't. Well, the house did remind me of the mansion that was in that movie. I forgot what year it was released, but the Agatha Christie, and then there were none.
Oh no!
It kind of reminded me of there was a couple of shots in there that reminded me of that home.
I think that home was fake, but they shot most of it on a studio lot at Universal, and you can tell they recycled the set of Columbo, the exterior set of the house. It's the same house that was used in Try and Catch Me, and the one where the Susan Clark shoots her brother, Lady in Waiting.
Really?
Yeah. It's.
I love Try and Catch Me.
Yeah, and if you watch those, what's clever about it, you can tell it's the same exterior if you look at it closely, but they just use different angles so you can't, it's not really obvious. So yeah. Of course, people back then, when they were making this, they didn't have any idea that there'd be a couple chuckleheads, doing a podcast and actually comparing this shit. They're like, no one's going to watch this ever again. Just whatever. Throw this away with, Doctor Who Marco Polo,
Well, a couple of shots were just too bright. Like, it looks like it's in California.
Oh, yeah.
And then there'd be scenes where Sean and Jessica were walking they would look off set, like, oh, isn't it beautiful here? And then I'm not off set, but look off screen, and then it would transition to an actual, I'm pretty sure, a field in Ireland where there were sheep, and then it would go back to them, and it was like the sunlight wasn't, it just seemed a little obvious, but but it doesn't. I don't think that's a fault of the episode. Just it's
TV.
Funny to see.
Yeah, it's early '90s TV. It's totally fine. By the way, Ireland really does look like that. I've been to a handful of places on vacation, and my favorite country of all time was Ireland. They have the nicest people there. It's beautiful, and they all drink. The only bad thing I would have to say about it is the food. The rumors you hear about the food, it's all true.
Yes.
All fucking true. Whew. Except for breakfast.
So there's a children's program that I like that involves Sean and sheep.
Yes, I know of this program. Sean the Sheep Shearer or something like that.
Yeah, I love that show.
That reminds me of there was 2 Garbage Pail Kids with the Sean name of them, and one of them was Sheared Sean, and it was the guy shaving, but he's shaving his skin off. Sheared Sean, and then there was Stoned Sean, where it was just a statue, kind of dumb, and they spelled it the proper way too. By the way, they very nearly run out of Irish names in this. I'm shocked that there wasn't a lady named Bridget in here, as a matter of fact. I mean, it's like, okay, let's think of some Irish names. Make a list. Let's see. Sean, Neil, O'Callahan, O'Malley.
Patrick.
There's no Patrick in it. That's right. Well,
And a lot of these actors I recognize as American actors.
Yeah,
I think before, maybe it was mentioned on the last one, but you had said there was only one actual Irish actor in this episode.
There are no Irish actors in this, I don't think. One of them is English. The druggist, what's his name? Francis. He's English.
O'Malley? No.
Yeah.
What was his name?
No, Francis.
O'Reilly.
Oh, that's clever.
Just put a no in front of it.
Oh man, Conan O'Brien spent a week in filming a show in Ireland. By the way, his director was a former listener of this show, or at least of the Columbo program.
Right?
Yeah, and he did something. Just there's something about the Irish people and the way that they're just so deadpan, like, oh no, we're gonna go get drunk, and he went to some castle. It was a really small castle. It was like the size of a tree house, and he's like, well, this is where my ancestors left, and like the wind's blowing really hard. I can't imagine why they left. And it's funny because I was there. Oh, what was it called? Oh, it was the cliffs of something. I remember, yeah. Okay, sorry, it doesn't matter. But there is one lady, I didn't look her up, and I think she really was Irish, and that's the lady that works at the drugstore, the old lady. She struck me genuinely Irish.
I've seen her before.
Really?
She's American. I just cannot think of... God, I want to say it has to do something with Leslie Nielsen, but I could be wrong.
Was she the rapping old lady in Wedding Singer? Which I've never seen that movie, but I've seen the commercials.
It's a great movie, but I haven't seen that movie in 20 years, so I can't remember.
I just remember my mom told me about the end when they go to see Will Ferrell, and he said, "Ma, Meatloaf, fuck." Anyway,
that's in Wedding Singer.
Yeah, it's like the end of Wedding Singer, where they go to see Will Ferrell, and he's like the king of the wedding singers. And Wait a minute, Wedding Crashers. I'm getting them mixed up. There's the Wedding Singer with Adam Sandler, which I will never see. Wedding Crashers, I will go see. But I fucking hate Adam Sandler. There are 2 people on this earth. There's people who like Adam Sandler and people who don't.
I like his earlier stuff. I do not enjoy his later stuff. Speaking of Will Ferrell, you reminded me of another movie I watched this past week. Another bucket list film. I finally watched Zoolander.
Oh, yeah. That movie
That was
suck.
funny.
Yeah.
No, it's really good. I was surprised. I thought I would hate it, but really good.
This is a center for kids who can't read that well.
Right.
Thing is, they're kids. They're not supposed to read well. They're kids. Anyway,
but Will Ferrell is great in that. He had his hair, and then he had a poodle with the same haircut. It was great.
Will Ferrell is very underrated.
I don't know. I don't know. Say he's underrated, but he's funny as he's great. I love him, but I think he's well known. It's not like he's
sir. Have you ever seen the Lego Movie?
Yes. Oh, forgot about that.
Talk about a movie that I did not want to see. I don't want to see the fucking Lego. They made a movie about Legos? This is stupid. Mm-hmm. And then, like, 5 minutes into the movie, there's a big, huge smile on my face that stays there throughout the rest of the movie. And I was like, oh, my God, this was really good.
Yeah, you went with Steven Shapansky, I think, to go see that.
No, I didn't. I saw it on video. Oh, stupid. Nobody knows what that is.
I know. Well, there will be a few.
There's another movie with The Rock, Karen Gillan, and Kevin Hart, I think, and Jack Black.
You're talking about Jumanji.
Yes, the computer game one. I love that movie.
I saw the first one. Good. I haven't seen the second.
They're completely different. There's an unofficial sequel, Zathura, which is like Jumanji, but it's a space game, the board game, but it's like science fiction. I think I was really drunk and I don't remember anything about it. But the it's not really a sequel. I mean, it's not got nothing to do with the first one, I don't think. But yeah, okay. Oh, you know what? I was watching this. Get this. The other day, I couldn't go to bed because I didn't have to go to work the next morning. So why go to bed? And I turn on Shudder. And there's this movie called The Summer of '84, and it's about these.
I wanted to see that.
Yes, it's about these kids in the summer of '84, and they suspect that the one kid's neighbor is a serial killer. And one of the kids, the typical different types of kids, and one of them is like the bad kid, like he wears a leather jacket and he's got that, the dog tag thing around his wrist. And I'm like, I fucking know this kid. How do I know this?
When was that movie released? How old is that film?
Between 3 to 5 years old.
Okay.
Yeah.
I saw that, and I was thinking about watching it. That was one of them I was kind of curious
I would recommend it. I would recommend it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and I couldn't recognize it, and I had to look it up. It was the kid from the Babysitter movies. And I'm like, wow.
The one that was the main character?
Yeah.
Babysitter?
Yeah, don't ask me his name, but yeah. Totally would recommend that. That was a fun movie until I passed out.
Oh, I want to see that. Very good.
All right. Wind
okay, so
beneath my wings.
So Sean and Jessica, they end up going to a hotel/pub, and they meet up with Neil Gilman. Now, Neil is kind of this wealthy landowner that's in this little town, and he owns a castle. Well, I don't know if it's a castle, but it's an estate that's off the shores. Maybe that's why I was thinking it reminded me of And Then There Were None, because it kind of looked like it was that location. But so he's actually secretly asked Sean to come visit him and not tell Jessica about why he needs his help. So we found out later that Neil feels that his life is in danger. And his friend Sean, who's I guess an ex-cop, investigator, I don't know what his background is, but he's asked him to kind of look into things for him.
Yes,
and so he's asked him to spend the night or stay with them at the estate.
Yeah,
yeah.
And Jessica, of course. By the way, I don't know if you noticed this, but I don't know if Neil and Sean, or Sean at least, pounded down a few drinks before she got to the bottom of hers, but Jessica actually almost finished off her beer in the pub there. This is one of the few times we actually get to see Jessica drink alcohol. Well, maybe it's a beer glass. I don't know if it's really beer, but it looks like
I don't think they serve water in Ireland, so.
Well, they do, but it's like 3 proof or something like that. Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Right.
I was so excited when we got there. And Tom went through all this effort to, like, actually... We didn't stay at, like, the Marriott. We stayed at, like, actual castles.
That's
and
cool.
I don't know how much it costs. I just wrote a check. And we get to this castle, and, I'm just so glad there's Irish people. I'm going to,
Sounds
cool.
like white privilege.
We can, shut up! So we can go to the bar, and we can have Guinness, and oh my gosh. We get there, and there's American people with children screaming children on the stairs. I am so angry. I'm going to flip the table over and walk out. And everything that was bad about that trip was because of the fucking Americans. I hate Americans.
Wow.
And this is before 2016. Okay. So, Jessica has some photos that she wants to develop.
Okay, I like how you transition back to the episode. You have your little I hate America speech, and then you move on to... Okay, go ahead.
So, Jessica has some photos that she wants to develop, and since this is 1992, she has to go to the drugstore.
Yes! Who remembers going to drop their film off at Eckerd's or Walgreens, whatever, I don't know, wherever you
or
drop the film
Rexall's.
off.
Yeah.
Rexall's.
Walgreens still has a full photo. Nobody works there full time anymore. They let that guy go years ago.
No shit. My wife and I, we were before COVID, we were going to go travel overseas. Mm-hmm. So we went to go get our passport photos done. And we had to wait for somebody to come on shift at the photo department, which was basically the person working a single register when there was a bunch of people. So I think we had to wait like 15 minutes for somebody to come over to the photo department to take our gut.
Yeah.
Sorry.
See, the thing to do...
mind.
You were going to say the G word there, weren't you, sir?
I was.
You know what?
I was.
I will not... Hey, you watch that language there. I'm just going to say go to FedEx office. Quick and simple. I used to do it myself.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I used to be one of those people that would take your photo, and I got mine taken for free. And they charge you like $20 to do it.
It's a stupid little photo.
Exactly. It costs them 52 cents to actually process that shit, and it's all digital, but you have to get it in order to have a passport, so you have no choice.
So why can't you do it yourself? Just put it against the white backdrop. Get your spouse, your partner, whoever, best friend, take a photo of you from the shoulders up.
How are you going to print it?
At home. Take it to Walgreens and print it out there. I don't know.
Good luck with that. And then is the computer going to work? The self-use computer? That shit never works. No. Where were we? Oh, yeah. Let's meet Francis.
Yeah, so she goes... Yeah, let's talk about this. The guy who owns the chemist store. So O'Reilly, was that his name?
Oh, I just know his first name
O'Reilly.
is Francis. Okay, thank you. Okay,
Francis, and this was a clue. So Francis knew she was coming. She was expected. So no one knew that Jessica was going to be there except for Neil.
That's right.
That was the only person. So that's a clue that he was aware. Everybody else was not aware. Even the guy who owned the pub hotel thing, it was like he didn't know. He's like, "Oh, you kind of look like that author, that American author. It can't be you, no, because why would she be here?"
Here's the thing.
So yeah, he recognizes her.
Yeah, that's a clue. But here's the thing about him. Okay, I admit I saw this before. Yeah, he is kind of handsome in a 1992 kind of way. But I admit I saw this before, but I didn't remember who the murderer was. I just remembered that the perfume was a clue. But he is so fucking suspicious because everybody else in this story is suspicious as fuck except for him. So therefore, he must be the murderer. Now, that is not altogether true. But yeah. Let's talk about...
And he asks... But he recognizes Jessica. And he's like, "Oh, we carry your books." Now, everywhere Jessica goes, they carry her books. You ever notice this?
Yes.
That's what I've noticed.
Their backs must be killing them.
So, and he asks, like, "Hey, I've got some clients or customers that would love to have their books signed, and they're shut-ins or whatever. They can't leave the house, and they would love it. It would be great if you could sign a few books for me." That MFer, he sold those. There's no way.
But this is the thing.
I got a Jessica Fletcher signed book. Normally $19 or $1.90 or not dollar, £1.99.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to charge you £20 for the signed copy. That's
he opens up his trench coat. You want to buy a Jessica Fletcher book? But the thing is,
an original.
When she comes back later on, when she comes back, she only signs like 3 of them. And she's awful nice to. I don't know. What are you going to say no to that? And she's so sweet. You know what I want for Christmas next year, Sean, from you? I want one.
Okay. I want. So you said that someone wrote as a pen name, Murder She Wrote novels from Jessica Fletcher. I want one of those, but I want Angela Lansbury to sign it for me.
Okay, I'm not going to be able to do that.
Christmas?
I am not going to be able to do that. I don't even know if she does.
I get the impression she would.
Okay.
She's probably one of those really nice, sweet. She's a sweet woman.
Could you imagine, I go to California, I track her down, she's coming out of, the backstage at some play she's in where she played,
some Asian massage parlor,
and I'm like, Miss Lansbury, would you sign this book? Fuck off! Get out of here! Fuck off!
Get my fucking wife's name out of your mouth! That's what she would say to you.
Smacks free. Actually, if I could have the smack, that would be great. I need the autograph. The smack is fun.
I would love it if Jessica Fletcher would slap me in the face. That would be. I wouldn't wash my face ever again.
I want Angela Lansbury.
But never shave. It would be one side of my face would just have a beard and pimples because I would never.
And I can get you to get really drunk and bring you to Dick Van Dyke and do something drunk and have him slap you on the other side of the face. And you'll have acne the rest of your life.
I told you about my Dick Van Dyke story, didn't I?
Yes, when we did that episode of the Columbo Confab on negative reaction. Yes, you did.
Not negative reaction. It's negative...
reaction. That's the Dick Van Dyke episode of Columbo.
No, it's not. What
it's negative reaction. Sir. Do I go to your house and tell you the name of Farscape episodes? I still feel guilty to this day that I did that. I still feel guilty to this day that I did that. That's horrible. What feel guilty?
And if you don't know what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen, then you can look that episode up. You said I talked about it on that episode, then?
Yeah, that negative reaction episode of the Columbo Confab. You told your Dick Van Dyke story.
Okay, where the fuck are we?
All right, yeah. So
go
to Neil's Castle. Which does it have a name? Really? We'll just call it Neil's Castle, which may or may not be an animated show. I had a cousin named Neil, just a couple years older than me. Actually, he's dead now. He died.
And I've always wanted to go to a White Castle. Oh wow!
You've never been to a White Castle?
No.
What in the name of Texas
for Christmas from you? I want you to drive me somewhere in the Northeast. Take me to a White Castle.
We went there. Wow. I think we were in Boston, and the line was huge. But I'm like, no, please, I want this, please. We pull up. We'll have 6 sliders, please. I mean, you just get 6 for 2 people. What are you, crazy?
And then when they rang you up, they go, "That's wicked smart."
What the? No, sir, we were not in Australia. That's wicked smart.
No, that's what they're saying. No, never mind.
No, if you are enjoying this banter, you go ahead and you go on your podcast app and you... Yeah, by the way, I got to bring that up.
Yeah, Dave and Mike, I hope you enjoy this shit, because it's your fault.
And
Joanne, I forgot to
mention Joanne and Mike and David, by the way, any of you, if you're enjoying this shit, go on your podcast app and rate us. Nobody has rated us on Spotify that I know of, but I think that we've been stuck at 20 ratings on the Apple Podcast app forever. And a lady named Columbo Girl left us a nice review, short but sweet. And it's been stuck on there for 6 months, and every other day I check to see if we have any more reviews. So it's this bothers me, people. This bothers me. By the way, I think it's time for
Of course it
letters.
is.
We get letters. We get lots and lots of letters. Letters.
I think it's funny that I'm the one that called for viewers to give us letters to why we should keep the banter down or the pre-banter down. But they're all in your favor. So
okay, all right. So stop complaining, Steve. Do you want? This is podcasting life. Okay. Do you think that Joan Crawford complained that she got too much attention from fans? No, she did not. No, she did not. Speaking
especially
of Joan,
after Mommy Dearest.
Yeah, speaking of Joan Crawford. Here.
Was she dead by the time that came out?
I think she was, yeah, because she dies at the end of the movie.
Yeah, there's no way in hell that no studio would play that.
Yeah, she would fucking sue somebody. Seriously.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, hold on. I gotta add bitters to this and then put my glasses on. La 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 la. Bitters. Add bitters.
See, that's a movie I want to revisit, Mommy Dearest. I haven't seen that since.
Oh, yeah. I own it on Blu-ray. It's a great movie. It really, truly is a great movie. So much fun. Also a cult classic.
Do you think that's legit, or do you think it's just the daughter being
I
bitter?
think it's got to be partly legit.
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's... They always say, what's the Occam razor? The truth's always down the middle, so it's probably a little of both.
Okay, so I like this letter. It says, "Hi, guys." That's the subject header. Now, I don't usually say what the reader's last name is, but in this case, and you'll understand in a second, it's Sarah. It's either Tolser or Tolkser. Tolscr. I spell that for a reason. Okay. I have just finished listening to the most recent episode, and I want to chime in and I say that I think that 10 to 20 minutes is my perfect amount of banter. My favorite podcast genre... Your alarm was at 5 minutes. Don't go
I'm going to set it for
when
2
it's,
minutes.
My favorite podcast genre is people BSing for an hour about 80s TV. And the banter
What podcast
part.
is that?
What?
They mentioned the podcast, so...
Not well. Okay. No, there's a problem.
All right, Sarah, you got to let us know, because I want to hear that.
Yeah. Also, as a published author, I totally get why Jessica didn't explain what she does. Yeah, I'll get there. Hold on. It's me talking, not her. I said I was a writer at the Trader Joe's checkout today and fully regretted it a moment later. The reason is it's a career the average person does not understand at all. So you feel like you have to explain everything, and then also people ask weird questions like, anything I've heard of? Which, who wants to
Sarah's
have to say, no, probably not.
Sarah being a bit of an elitist here, or what's going on?
Well, I never heard of Sarah before this email, to be fair. But wait, hold on, Steve. Now, she's not being elite. Don't say that about our readers. It's a wonder you have a podcast at all, the way you are. Oh, God. In real life, people, we're not like this. We're not like Statler and Waldorf. Anyway. Do you remember? We were at a convention and somebody said that. You guys are the Statler and Waldorf of Doctor Who podcasts. Which, quite frankly, that's a compliment. I mean, that's better than saying...
I know, I love it.
You're the Fozzie Bear of Doctor Who podcast.
I'm getting that printed on a t-shirt. I'm going to order 2 copies for you and I. This...
To wrap up, I'm happy I found you guys because you started just as one of my other Murder, She Wrote podcasts ended. I also love your format of jumping around instead of going in order. I know, right?
Oh, Sarah,
right?
you're going to love this one.
Cheers, Sarah. So Sarah wrote, I don't want to speak for Sarah or her books, but I did some research on Amazon. Mm-hmm. She is an author. She wrote I think she's writing a trilogy in 2 books. The first 2 books have been published, and I think she might be from either Spain or Brazil. I think Brazil.
Okay, so she's a legitimate author. She's not like someone that slept at a Hilton and thinks they're an author.
No. Or like me, when I signed up to go to the mystery convention and I signed up as an author, and then they removed me from the author list 2 weeks later.
What?
That's a true fucking story. Okay, so she wrote, the first book was called Song of the Current, and then she wrote a follow-up book to that, which I didn't write the name of it, but I think it's going to be a trilogy. I'm not sure. and it's a sci-fi fantasy type thing, and I think it's with pirates. And,
I'm going to order a copy.
Okay, all right. I expect a review, and I expect a positive review within the next month. Quicker than you did with Halloween.
So it's a sci-fi though?
It's when I say sci-fi, I mean it could be. It's probably closer to fantasy, and I think there's pirates, but I'm not sure. So
all right,
yeah, all right.
I see it. Oh yeah, I see it right here.
Yeah,
and is that the first one in the series? I wonder.
Yeah, there is a second. There is a second one. I don't know the name of it. I didn't write it down. I'm sorry, Sarah.
And it's got 116 reviews. 4.5 stars out of 5. That's good.
Yeah, that is pretty good. That is like 116 reviews. That's about 100 more than we have for this podcast right here.
I'm adding it to my cart right now, Sarah.
Are you really? You're really going to read it? You're going to read a book, Steve?
What does that mean? I'm going to read a book.
You don't read books.
I know. The last book I bought was from Patrick Troughton's son back at Gallifrey. What was that, 7 years ago?
And then you came upstairs and told me all about it, which was actually pretty fun. And, yeah.
Well, I'm ordering... So there's another book in my Amazon cart. The other one I have in there. See, it's another book. Thank you very little, sir. It's called the Farting Animals Coloring Book. It's a coloring book of animals farting on each other.
Sorry, that's really stupid, and I didn't expect it.
I will send you the link, sir, if you are interested.
But there's got to be somebody listening that's like, why don't they talk about Murder, She Wrote? It's been so long, and they haven't even gotten to the murder yet. God damn it.
Well, and that's the thing. I try to keep it on track, but apparently Dave, Mike, Joanne, and Sarah love this. So,
all right. Well, we may come across.
Who am I? I'm not going to argue against the people that enjoy this. So,
all right. So they go to the castle. They go to Neil's castle.
Holy shit! We're only in the first 10 minutes of the episode.
Yeah, I know. I know. They go to Neil's castle. They meet his wife Anne and his cousin Liam. All right,
Liam.
Liam. Yeah. Yet another great Irish name that is everywhere.
A particular set of skills. Yeah.
Did Liam look familiar to you? You are going to hit yourself when you find out who this is.
No.
He was in Aliens.
Oh my God! He was the guy that calls Ramirez the illegal alien. No, he calls him. No, yes. Does anybody confuse you as a man or something like that? Right?
Yeah.
Oh no, that wasn't him. That was.
I can't remember if it was him or not.
I know who you're talking about, though.
Yes, he is Private Drake in Aliens.
Drake. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, he and Ramirez were friends. Yeah.
I think he lasted kind of long on that movie. Like, he wasn't among the last, but he survives the first vetting of soldiers in that movie, I think.
Yeah, he's the one that's carrying the ammunition. He throws Ramirez or something like that.
Yeah.
Which also stars the Doctor Who actor that played the ringmaster in what was the name of that Doctor Who episode?
Greatest Show in the Galaxy. Yeah.
Yes.
Apone. Yeah. Is it Apone? Did he play Apone?
No. Apone is the sergeant, right? So
I don't remember. It's been so long since I learned that. But the Greatest Show in the Galaxy.
But we're also introduced to Claire. She's the maid of the estate.
Hold on. He played some. Hold on, sir. Hold on. He was also in this movie you may have heard called The Shawshank Redemption. And
okay.
Have you ever seen this film? He played Boggs, the rapist. You remember when Tim Robbins goes to and he's like, "Have they been at you yet? Have they been at you yet?" He's so gross, and it never occurred to me that Boggs, the rapist from The Shawshank Redemption, and Drake from Aliens were the same guy. But yeah, it's the same guy.
I had no idea.
And he plays Liam in this episode. That's the only person that I know from something. But go ahead. I'm sorry, sir. Go ahead.
That's not true. There will be somebody else, and I'll point it out.
Okay.
But yeah. So we're also introduced to Claire. She's the maid. Now she's set up to be very suspicious because she's always around the corner listening in and doing things she shouldn't be doing. But she's a total throwaway character.
Mm-hmm.
Claire does nothing that of importance, except looks suspicious. And we're also introduced to Neil's wife, Anne.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she's pretty innocuous, it seems, but you know that Liam and Claire, it can't be them because they're just too damn suspicious, and we'll get back to them later on.
And they're too damn friendly with each other, too, I think.
Yeah.
I think they hint to an affair.
But then they're having dinner in a very nicely decorated dining room. Yes. The art department overdid itself on this because they just decorated the set with lots of antiques and stuff, and the gentleman actors were forced to wear corduroy and tweed and whatnot, which isn't so bad actually on a set because they keep sets really, really cold. They crank up the air conditioning because the lights are so hot that the actors will sweat. Right. I learned that in television school, and
wow.
Yeah. And so they're sitting there at dinner and they hear this. I can't really do it, but it sounds like a howling. It sounds like a lady screaming, but it doesn't really sound like either of those. It's actually kind of really creepy sounding.
Again, very Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, extremely Scooby-Doo. And Anne explains that, according to legend, that every time you hear that, you're hearing the wailing lady, and that means that somebody's going to die. Okay?
Right, and they explain
Anne
the story. Yeah, so the story is that 100 years ago, the house was built by a shipboat captain, and he built his wife this beautiful home, and in the tower, which is by the rocks, the cliffy rocks by the ocean, she could go out there and see when his ship was coming into port. But she went out there to go watch one day 100 years ago, and the ship crashed into the rocks, killed everybody on board. And so she threw herself, when she saw it, she threw herself onto the rocks, off the tower, and committed suicide, screaming. And then, funny enough, the captain ended up living, having a menage a trois with a bunch of other females on board, brought them back. No, I'm kidding.
That's not, I was going to say, that's not in the story, Steve. Could you please treat the story with respect? Thank you.
Okay. So,
So,
I'm sorry, Sarah.
Cut to nighttime. Sean's in bed. He can't sleep. He looks out the window. He sees a guy with a flashlight, and he's like, I'm going to go investigate. So he gets out of his room. Turns out Jessica's coming out of her room at the same time. He's like, oh, Jessica, I was going to go get some warm milk, because that's what old people do. That's, I have a rule.
Have you ever had warm milk, Sean?
I will never drink warm milk unless I am held prisoner somewhere and they make me drink. I'm not doing it. No, absolutely not. I'm never drinking milk again. I'm like how people who are vegetarian, like they say that they just had this realization at one time that they were eating an animal's flesh. Well, like when I found out like milk, like that's basically just like a mucus that the body excretes to feed its young, and that's it is. And
thanks for ruining for me too, Sean. Oh my god!
Ever since I realized
what's wrong with you?
I can't drink milk. It is so. Maybe if it's chocolate milk, strawberry milk, or even banana milk.
Add a little chocolate to the mucus. You're fine with it. Got it.
Well, I know it's not going to kill me.
I'm going to eat a Hershey bar and then hawk a loogie into a shot glass and let you drink it.
Oh, you should have said that. Oh, Steve. Ugh. This might be it after 300 plus episodes. I think I might actually barf. No, I'm not. I'm fine.
Oh, good.
Okay,
hey,
puppies.
Trash can over there in the corner of the room.
I'm trying to think of like pizzas. No, don't think of pizzas. Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Would you like some hard-boiled eggs?
Shut up! I like hard-boiled eggs. That's another thing. Eggs are just chicken menstruations. But they're so tasty. It's like, maybe I'm just missing out. I don't know.
I like to pour a little milk in my scrambled eggs. It kind of froths them up and makes them fluffier.
Yeah. I cook mine with butter, too, or ghee. I use ghee, which is basically clarified butter. It's clarified butter. People in keto use it. It's quote unquote healthy butter, I guess.
Sounds horrible.
It's really good.
You know what
popcorn.
You know what I like to cook my eggs in besides butter?
What?
Instead of butter, use bacon grease.
Yeah, I did that one time and I got yelled at, so I'm not using.
By
it.
who?
Maybe.
What's wrong with that?
Me. No,
Why? What was the problem with that?
I cooked bacon one time, and then the grease that was left over, I used it to cook like hash browns, like McDonald's type hash browns, in the bacon grease. I am not eating that. Are you kidding? You cooked that? That's inedible. Okay, whatever, Uncle Roger. Okay. All right, where were we? All right, so there's so Jessica. Wait, do Jessica and Sean go in the? They go in the tower, and Jessica's like, "I'm smart. I think there's a secret passage," and she pushes on a wall, and there's a secret passage.
No. That happens later.
No,
they just go. No, they go. No, it doesn't. They go into the tower, and then
you're right.
They're confronted by like the groundskeeper. What's his name? Quint. Quint holds them at gunpoint. Well, at shotgun point. And then escorts them out. And he says, yeah, he saw somebody, saw a flashlight, and he went to go investigate, and they don't need to be there. And that's it.
They're like, okay, let's skedaddle, let's go back inside, and there's a kerfuffle inside, and everybody's talking.
And then they gave Scooby a Scooby snack. Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody goes to bed, and then Claire comes out, looks concerned, and heaves her breasts up against the wall.
What? I didn't notice that.
Anyway.
So next morning, we see Jessica and Sean having breakfast, and I love that they have that full baked ham.
Oh man,
it looks delicious.
Yeah, I would love.
Is that an Irish thing? They have a full ham for breakfast.
I know that ham for breakfast is traditional in Ireland and England and Scotland, I think. But they had a full fucking ham. Like, I'd have to go to my Aunt Rose's house on Easter to have that kind of ham. Mm-hmm. And the thing about ham, though, is it goes cold so soon. But really, who cares? It's actually
it doesn't matter. Yeah, it's good cold, warm
ham
on toast with eggs on a pizza.
Yeah, and he's got like a no. What are you? Oh, wait a minute, Steve. Are you one of these people who puts ham and pineapple on your pizza?
I will eat I will do that.
Oh my god.
Sacrilege to you?
You're one of the pod people, aren't you? You're one of the fucking... You're going to say, it's okay, Sean. Sit down, go to sleep.
One of the pod people.
Yeah, from Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Now, my question to you, that ham looked a little raw. Did it look fully cooked to you?
Yeah, I think it was fully cooked there. Because ham is naturally, once you cook it, isn't sort of a pink color.
It looked like it was a little more darker. But
okay. Well, it's TV ham, so who knows? It's just like
probably a prop. Yeah.
Whenever they drink wine in movies or TV, they drink red wine. It looks like punch instead of it should be darker, like more seriously like a blood red.
Yes.
It always drives me crazy. Yeah. No one drinks white wine, by the way, in TV. Except
that's the Marino Brothers. That's the Marino Brothers box wine.
49 cents a gallon, Marino Brothers. They don't sell wine. They sell mouthwash. Somebody in a Colombo group that I was in on Facebook posted an actual magnet that said they don't sell wine, they sell mouthwash. And it had somebody else on Etsy has sold book bags that say Greenleaf Publishing.
Yes, yeah, we've talked about that.
Yes,
yeah.
I think that is genius.
For Christmas for you, sir, I'm going to look for a bottle of wine where you can put your own labels on. It'll be Marino Brothers wine.
Okay.
Or it would be great if it was in a box, actually.
All right, so let's talk about John Finnegan.
What?
Because Jessica's the next day, she's like, well, I'm going to go out and about the town, and I'm going to go to the pub, and I'm going to chat up.
Yeah, I'm going to get hammered. No, she goes. First, she goes to back to the chemist or the whatever.
Oh, that's right.
And she picks up her photos, and that's where she buys the Estee Lauder. Estee. How do you say it?
Estee Lauder.
Estee Lauder Emerald Sunset perfume. And we found out she's the first person to buy it.
Now, if you're watching this, or if you've watched, say, a handful of Murder, She Wrote episodes, you know this has got to be a clue. And I knew it was a clue.
Like, why would you have that in there? Why would her buying perfume be a thing? Why waste... You got a 45-minute episode. Why are we spending 2 minutes on stupid perfume? Yep.
Now, I know I said I saw this before, and I remember that the perfume was a clue, but I didn't remember any details. I don't know if I was drinking. I don't know if I was sitting there on the bed eating a
I
medium
guarantee
pizza.
You were, I wasn't there, but I guarantee you were drinking.
I don't usually drink in hotel rooms. I usually go to a bar. But anyway.
Bullshit.
So I know it's a clue, and it comes up again later, and I couldn't put the clue together. I'm like, I know that bottle of perfume has something to do with it, the story. By the way, everybody, if you're going to buy your nice lady a bottle of perfume, don't buy it from the cardboard cutout thing on the counter. Just don't. What you do, don't even go to the drugstore to buy it. You got to go to your Dillard's, living in Chicago.
Your Walmarts, your Kmart's, yes.
Your living in Chicago is Marshall Fields. No, you can't do that with my mom. She'll suss that shit out right away. How'd you pay? How much you'd pay for this?
Your mom probably wears, Chanel No. 5 or something?
I don't know what she wears. I really don't know. But sometimes she'd say, do you like my perfume? All her perfume smells the same to me. All that shit smells the same. Although she did have this vanilla perfume one time that I thought was really nice. But you're not supposed to think about your mom with nice perfume. But I just like the smell of vanilla, you know? Where was I going with this? Anyway, it looked like really cheap-ass perfume.
It does look like... Well, and I like that when the lady who's working the register, when she rings up Jessica, Jessica just pays her. But when she does the sale on her little buttons, there's no dollar amount. She's just basically... It's a no sale. She's keeping the money for herself. That's what's happening.
Yeah. Yeah, you're the first one to get it. Okay. And Jessica knows about the perfume. She's like, oh, I've heard of this. I'm a big, huge fan of cheap perfumes. In fact, I go and play ski. I usually play skee ball and collect enough tickets to get my perfume that way. Then she goes to the pub to do some day drinking and talk to John Finnegan about Columbo.
Yes. Okay. So he plays a guy named Foodie.
Yeah. And, he's fine. Because he really does.
Yeah, it was nice to see him. I didn't recognize him. I didn't know that was him.
Really?
No, not until I looked him up looked up the episode in IMDb.
Because last episode, you looked up the episode and you said, "Oh, John Finnegan is in this." So.
Yeah, but I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know what character he was playing.
So he is probably Irish in real life or Irish heritage. I mean, he has the name Finnegan, so
right.
There's no way he's gonna. I was gonna try to rhyme it with something, but anyway. Then there's this other gentleman named Jason
McNamara.
McNamara, yeah. They're running out of names at this point.
I know we're not even halfway through.
I'm running out of fat guys in my head. I'm like, okay, there's a fat guy with a beard. There's a fat guy without a beard. Okay.
So
wait,
yeah.
Sean,
So wait, Jessica's talking. So Jessica's talking to this foodie guy about local legends because she's again researching his book and she's looking for stories. And McNamara wants Foodie to tell her about the whaling lady or whatever that's called. And we find out that he's not a fan of Neil. As a matter of fact, he hates him. He wants him dead. So now we start building up people who are suspects who would want Neil dead.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, when's Neil going to die?
Right.
We know who the victim's going to be. And it's not going to be this Jason guy, because it's just too obvious, just like with Claire and Liam. Okay?
Yeah. Well, yeah, and then we find out immediately after this scene that Neil is accusing Liam of stealing money from the corporate business account. Mm-hmm. And so Liam tells him that if you ever touch me again, I'll, I forgot what he said, but...
Yeah, something like that.
So,
it's typical, Wait a minute, Steve. Hold on. Guess what's coming back? It's the Letters. Why? We get letters. We get lots and lots of letters. Where are my glasses? Here they are. Oh, God. All right. So this letter is from... Hold on. Okay, this one is from Michelle. Oh, I know Michelle from Twitter, actually. Michelle says, more pre-show banter, please. Or it might be Michelle. It might be a man.
Michelle.
Dear Sean and Steve, I believe I speak on behalf of the majority of Cabot Cove Confab's readers/listeners when I say that a current of fear and dread ran through me when Sean mentioned limiting the pre-show banter or when Steve mentioned limiting the pre-show banter portion of the podcast to 5 minutes and then set a timer to go off at the appointed time. The readers... Sir. The readers/listeners love the pre-show banter and do not wish for it to be constrained in any way by the demands of a preset time limit. Following is a list of items discussed during Snow White, Blood Red, which we would have been denied the pleasure of hearing about if the 5-minute limit had been adhered to. All right, number 1.
Okay.
I have absolutely no memory of this at all. A discussion of a Gilligan's Island biodocumentary and the Marianne versus Ginger debate. Okay. Number 2.
I don't remember either.
The Epicurean delights of Appian Way pizza mix. Number 3. The health hazards of hand-rolled and menthol cigarettes, leading to a mention of the fiery
I don't remember that.
Of Jack Cassidy.
I don't remember that at all. God.
Number 4. The deliciousness of Wendy's jalapeno chicken popper sandwich, a perpetual
Sounds like
favorite.
something we talk about. Yeah, that's yours, yeah.
Number 5. The horror of having our parents dispose of our childhood action figures, including G.I. Joe and Snow Job. Number 6, and last but not least, the flatulence problem of our beloved Inspector Columbo due to his frequent consumption of hard-boiled eggs and chili.
In chili, yeah. It has to be. There's no way. There's no way you can eat that and not have like that sulfuric fart right there.
Oh, okay. I end with a final request to let the pre-show banter run unencumbered, as it usually leads to one of your rabbit hole discussions, which is a reader/listener favorite portion of the podcast. Many thanks for the entertainment and pleasure you provide us all, Michelle.
Sorry. Yeah. How do you turn this damn thing off?
It's time for you to have a bowel movement, Steve.
That's what it is.
Somebody roll
I'll be
him
right
into
back.
The bathroom.
Sorry.
All right.
Michelle, it has nothing to do with you, or Michelle. You don't know the difference. You're reading it.
Okay. All right, so...
Yes, I have a bowel movement, so let me...
All right. So back to the episode. As you said,
God,
Neil confronts his cousin about the embezzlement. Oh, wow, motive.
Right.
Sean is told by the groundskeeper that there's been lots of suspicious lights going around and all that.
Yeah,
and
people talking. Yeah, it's weird shit.
Yeah.
So we don't know. Yeah, we don't know if there's people that hate Neil. There also seems to be what's the word I'm looking for? Not surreal, but it's a epherical. Is that the word I'm looking for?
I don't
know.
Ephemeral. Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Reason to the death, or what will become the death. We haven't even gotten there yet. So after dinner, Neil confirms to Sean that he thinks he will die like in 48 hours, I think.
Yes.
And then that's when Anne interrupts and brings in the camcorder. To say, hey, your toy here is broken, which is a bit weird. That must have been a setup. And so Neil and Sean decide to meet at midnight later, so they can just be alone. And everybody goes to bed. And next thing we know, Anne's screaming in the middle of the night because she has discovered that Neil is dead at his desk.
Mm-hmm. everybody comes running, including Liam, by the way. And
is Liam there? I can't
Liam
remember.
is there, even though later on in another scene he says that he wasn't there. That was a little problem there. Continuity problem that isn't a clue. And so he's basically
we're introduced to. Oh, sorry. Oh no, I was just going to say. So next we're introduced to Sergeant O'Malley, who is been assigned to the case, and we see him interviewing.
Wait! I have to ask you a question. Do you recognize Sergeant O'Malley?
I do, but from what? What is he from?
Everything. The actor's name is Richard Riley.
Yes.
Obviously, he's older now, but you would recognize him if he had gray hair and a mustache.
Yes.
He has been. He is a character actor in so many things. Just look him up. He's been in like probably hundreds of productions. Very prolific, but he never has more than like maybe 10 lines in a movie. Mm-hmm. But you've seen him. Like you've definitely seen him. And I'm willing to say he's been in most of sitcoms. And there was this documentary one time called I'm That Guy in That Thing, and it's about... Anyway, go ahead, Steve, because I know we're short on time.
Okay. Oh my God, we've been talking about this thing for an hour and 20 minutes.
I know, I thought that'd be enough time, but...
So, yeah, Sergeant O'Malley, he thinks it's a heart attack. But Jessica points out, well, he didn't have blue lips, so maybe he was poisoned, but, you know, we'll have to do a coroner report, or the coroner will have to do a report on that. And during this time, we see that Liam and Claire are making out outside, and Anne is watching. She seems very disappointed.
They're not making out. They're just talking, but you can tell that they're having...
No, they kiss. They end up kissing. And
oh, they do?
I don't remember.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's so hot.
Uh-huh. And so that's when Jessica comes into the room. And Jessica's trying to talk to her like, hey, you know, if you need any assistance, need any help. And Anne is insistent that Neil died of actual causes, or natural causes, and then begins to cry. Which I find very odd that you'd think she would want to know the truth to why her husband died, and she seems to be passing off like, I don't care what you have to say, Jessica, he died of a heart attack, let's let it be, you know, let's move on, I'm going to sell the house and the business, and let's just move forward. And that's when Jessica, because she starts to cry, probably as a diversion, Jessica goes into her bathroom and sees a bottle of the Emerald Sunset perfume.
Okay, and I know this is a clue, but I haven't put it together. It bugged the hell out of me.
Why is that?
Because I know it's a clue. I remember that from the episode. And I couldn't figure out why the perfume being in Anne's bathroom was important.
Because the shopkeeper that rung her up was like, you're the only one to buy the bottle. No one else has had this before you. You're the first one. So how did Anne have a bottle of it? Which would associate her with the shop owner, O'Reilly.
I didn't make that connection. And they basically spell it out for you, too, because Jessica goes back to the drugstore and she asks the lady, it's like, okay, well, who bought the other? I don't know, man, but maybe it was Francis, whatever his name is, the handsome druggist. Maybe he took one for one of his lady friends, because that's what you give to your lady friends, the cheap-ass perfume. And Jessica's like, okay, whatever. But no, that's exactly what he did, because it turns out, boom, 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 Anne is having an affair with the handsome young druggist, and they plotted together to kill her husband so she can inherit his money, and they can, you know, go off and do whatever. Classic motive ever. Like, that's like your standard, like, you know, in a million stories type thing. But, you know, it works in this.
So Sergeant O'Malley brings back the report from the coroner, and we find out that that he died from pneumonia because he had a fluid in his lungs. Which doesn't make much sense to Sean and Jessica because he seemed healthy. He didn't have a cough or anything like that. So it was bizarre why his lungs would be filled with fluids. And that's when Anne, because she knows that Jessica is starting to kind of narrow down what's going on, she says, "Oh, I found this VHS tape because I accidentally left the camcorder on," which I bet was on purpose. They don't really say that, but...
Oh, she was even so fake when she turned it on, and she's like, "I can't watch it again." And she walks out of the room like, "You bitch, you fake bitch." And like she's acting like a murderer, but I didn't pick up on it. Because, it's never the spouse. But
it's always the spouse. Columbo has taught me anything, that it's always the spouse.
Okay, whatever. But this is basically what's on the tape. And O'Malley, he fast forwards through a lot of it, but Neil is sitting there reading his book, smoking a cigar at his desk, which is not where I read my books. I like to read my books in bed. I never sit at my desk and read books because your pleasure and your anyway. But he's lighting his cigar. And
well, I think he's going over the. I thought he was going over a ledger, like trying to figure out how Liam.
No, he was reading a book. I swear he was reading a book. But he does light his cigar like every 3, 4, or 5 minutes. So I thought that somebody had just taken the 5 minutes of footage and just put it in there, and it repeated over and over again. But that is a clue. And then he just basically dies on camera. He just has, which by the way, when I die, that's how I want to go. I want to be. Oh, okay. I don't know if he was drinking, but I hope he was drunk. And then he just sort of eyes roll into his head. He dies in his chair. And then Anne comes in and she turns off the lamp. And then she sees the body. Then she walks outside. Or she confirms he's dead by, he's not breathing. And then she screams. And it's a little weird. But everybody comes running. And so he must have died of a heart attack. But this just isn't sitting right with Jessica. And there's a reason why. But we don't find out until later. And I don't know. You take it from here, Steve. I'm not sure where this goes from here. I mean, I know where it goes, but I'm afraid that if I go there, you're going to say, "Wait, no! You're jumping around."
No, we're getting very close to the end. They pretty much they feel okay. We're obviously Anne is very bothered. She's hurt, so they're going to drop it until. Sean mentioned something about how nice she smells, and that's when Jessica gets the light bulb above her head. That's it. She knows who did it. She figured it out because of the smell of her perfume. So they head to the tower. We don't know what that meant exactly, but they head to the tower again, and Jessica finds that secret door, that passageway again. Very Scooby-Doo. And it's dark, it's thundering outside, it's in a castle kind of corridor, and there's a secret door. She goes in there and she finds...
I just want to say I was completely confused. She goes down there, she finds a bunch of nitrogen tanks that have been hooked up to the... And I thought, in my mind, that maybe they were making... pirate perfume, knockoff perfume.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
I don't know why I thought that. Maybe it's because if you actually killed someone this way, you'd get rid of the evidence as soon as you could. The ocean is right there. Just throw the tanks into the ocean. Worst murderer ever.
Well, she finds these nitrogen canisters in a hidden room. And she also sees a pipe where the wind blows. So when the wind blows just right, it makes a howling, crying, wailing sound. So she's discovered that the ghost sound is actually just the wind going through the ventilation pipes. Mm-hmm. And so Jessica sets up a trap for Anne, and she tells her, "Hey, she's in Neil's office, and she says, I think that the evidence or the proof of his murder is in this book." And so she takes the book, she goes to where Neil was sitting at his desk, which is, I don't know if I don't want to sit at a desk where someone died, but she turns on the lamp, and we see Anne freak out. She is bothered. The door is locked behind her, so they're trapped in this room. It's because that the light switch is set up to the nitrogen canisters in the tower to pump in air when you turn on the light, which would then be as Jessica would call it, a kill jar. So
for butterflies, yes.
For butterflies. And so that's when we find out that Anne had set it up so she can get Neil's money. She wants to run off with O'Reilly, who supplied the nitrogen and also the perfume that she had. Now, what I don't understand, why didn't Anne just inject a bunch of nicotine into his cigar like George Hamilton did?
That is a great question. I think I know the answer to it because
I think that's yeah.
Go ahead.
No, she didn't watch Columbo, apparently. So.
Yeah. When you smoke a cigar, you don't inhale the smoke. You just sort of taste it and then push it out of your mouth. When you watch TV or movies and you see somebody smoking a cigarette, sometimes you can totally tell that they're not actually a smoker. For those of you who know the absolutely fabulous Joanna Lumley, who played Patsy, she never smoked. That's why she's still alive. And so she learned that, her character's smoking all the time, so she learned that she could just push the smoke into her mouth and then blow it out. Whereas if you're a real smoker and you inhale that smoke and then you exhale,
bring it in.
It's not that thick. It's just maybe some vapor coming out. You can see it, but it's not that thick. Whereas cigar smokers, they don't inhale the smoke, so you wouldn't be able to actually poison a cigar. That's just my 2 cents on it. I don't know why I've thought of that before, but yeah. What I want to know is how Anne or what's-his-face, Francis, knew how to hook up that lamp so it would, generate
Yes, that would take
nitrogen.
a plumber. I don't know.
Yeah. And by the way, when you kill someone, you should immediately go back and remove all the evidence of your nitrogen death trap. Even though it's behind the secret passage, you should get rid of that shit. And you know what? As Columbo said in one episode, you've got the biggest dark garbage dump in the world right out your door. Just throw it over the cliff. No one's going to know. But what do I know? I'm not a Murder, She Wrote murderer. So yeah, if I was a Columbo murderer, I probably would have gotten away with it. But anyway. I don't know. Are we ready to... Wait, before we rate this. I know you're busy.
Oh, God.
This one's probably short. This is the last one, Steve. Okay?
Oh,
this one's
nice.
This one's short. Hold on. Let me get rid of the plastic bag. All right, this one says...
It's odd that you keep emails in a plastic Walmart bag. That's so bizarre.
See, the thing is... Okay. Conspiracy or coincidence? This is from Jessica. Dear Sean and Steve, this contains somewhat of a spoiler for If a Body, Meet a Body, so proceed with caution. I know you haven't covered this episode yet, but maybe you've seen it. I'm a long-time Murder, She Wrote watcher, but have just got into Columbo and have been enjoying both podcasts. I recently watched The Conspirators, speaking of Irish people, and the following day happened to see If a Body Meets a Body. IMDb tells us...
That's the one where they had all the pinballs, yeah.
The Conspirators, yeah.
Yeah.
IMDb tells us that the needle point, that's the ship's flag, that is worked on in both episodes is the same. I wonder if that needle point was purposely included in the Murder, She Wrote episode because the victim and the murderer are co-conspirators. Or maybe I'm reading too much into it. I'm looking forward to finishing out the Columbo confab. I have just the 90s left to go. See, she's listening to the 70s and the 90s. That's interesting. And more Cabot Cove confab. Thanks for the laughs, Jana. All right, thank you, ma'am. Or miss.
Jana or Jessica?
It's Jaana. Jana? Or maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's a boy.
So she didn't bring up the banter shit.
No,
right?
she didn't bring it up, and that doesn't mean she's against.
So she's probably she's probably against it. Yes, I'm going to take that as a mark for me.
Okay, but you still lose.
I still lose.
You still lose if we're keeping track. All right. So, are we going to rate this thing, Steve?
Yeah. So, Sean, what would you rate this episode out of 12, 12, 12?
Where'd you get that from?
Because that's the VHS, or the recorder is always set to 12, 12, 12.
Oh, that's right. Somebody complains about that at one point, I think.
Yeah.
What is this, like? Oh, golly.
Like 12, 12 colon, 12 colon, 12.
Actually, the first time I watched this, and I only watched it the once, I didn't like it as much as when I was talking to you about it and all that. I think it was actually kind of a fun episode. It's weird when we do these. I mean, there are so many Murder, She Wrote episodes, 260-something of them.
God,
There's going to be the really good ones, the bad ones, and then everything in between. This is one of the sort of in-between ones. But I'll be nice to it. I'll give it a 999 out of 12, 12, 12. Didn't suck. Kind of hokey at times, but for such a complicated plot to murder someone, the murderers were actually kind of stupid. And they should have gotten rid of that evidence. They should have gotten rid of that.
That was the reason you... But okay, all right.
Well, no, I mean, come on, you've got to rate the thing, because if the murderer is so implausible, like, Jessica says at the end, well, he killed him with magic fairy dust, and I know it because I have a time machine that and that's not going to happen. But you got to think about think of the story backwards, like an inverted mystery, and think if you start at the murder and you go back, does the murderer make sense? And what the murderer did, does what he or she did in response to the investigator make sense? And in this, it doesn't, because it's a very complicated murder. It relies on a lot of stuff. There were, however, some really great clues. I'm going to pass over the perfume bottle, but the point that he had to light his cigar like every 3 minutes because the nitrogen was just sucking up the fire, and that was really cool. But I just don't understand how the fuck these two people figured out how to wire a lamp so it would leak nitrogen. I think it would be possible, but you can't be either a rich housewife or a pharmacist. Neither one of those types of people would know what to do. So, yeah. I really like the twist, that being it was two people together. I didn't remember that. I seem to remember in my mind that it was the druggist, and he was so guilty anyway. Like, it was so obvious it was him. But it was a twist for me to find out that it was the two of them together. And I thought that was so it really is a solid. It's pretty good. It is pretty good. So yeah, it's still 9 out of 10. I'm gonna say 9 out of 10 still. Yeah.
Okay, so you give it 999. All right. Well, I thoroughly enjoyed this. I'm giving it a solid 12, 12, 12.
Oh,
I could watch this again. Yeah, I really like this one. I thought this was a perfect episode. I liked the misdirections. I liked, I didn't, it's funny enough. I didn't suspect the wife immediately. Not until she started really kind of pushing Jessica, like, no, it was natural causes. Just trust me. It was natural. That wasn't. At that point, it was like, well, how the fuck did she do it? I don't know. I thought it was really good. I enjoyed it. Sorry you didn't enjoy it as much as I did.
No, I didn't hate it. I already said what things I didn't like about it, but it's by no means a bad story. It's really good. I mean, it's like you don't see that ending coming. It was good. Yeah.
Okay, so that's what I give it.
By the way, there are things like, Jason, the adjacent property owner, he's a red herring. Liam and I don't remember the pretty lady's name. They're just throwaway characters that are there for suspect fodder. And I kind of find it annoying when you have your really obvious suspect. It's like, nobody... You have to be like a fucking 3-year-old to think that they were actually the murderer. You know what I mean? Like, come on. It's not them. Please, come on, just don't waste screen time on them. All right.
So you ready to bring out the cats and the?
Yeah, cats, come on in with the season 10 wheel. All right, Steve, let me know when you're ready to roll that thing.
I'm rolling that thing now.
All right. Here we go. Let's see. Sorry, everybody. I'm actually going... Okay, we are going to watch an episode called... Deadly Assets. Okay, I have to look up what it's about still. But, Steve, it might be about porn. Deadly Assets. Let's see. It says here on... by the way, every time I read sort of a synopsis, or not a synopsis, but a summary of what it's about, I'm pulling the insert from the DVD cover. Deadly Assets. A young Cabot Cove fisherman... Here you go, Steve. A young Cabot Cove fisherman unwittingly brings the mob to town, and with them comes Jessica's shady acquaintance, Charlie Garrett. Okay, I'll take your word on that there, Charlie Garrett. All right, so Deadly Assets.
Sounds good. Can't wait to see it.
I guess. All right. With that, Steve, I think it's time, unless you have something else to say about anything.
That's it.
That's it? All right, say goodnight, Steve.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Oh, God.
Thank you for listening to the Cabot Cove Confab. If you've enjoyed it, please leave us a favorable review on Apple Podcasts. Also, feel free to reach out to us on Twitter at Cabot Cove Confab or email us at cabotcoveconfab@gmail.com.